Give you some editing basics in Wondershare Filmora 10 that will help your editing process go a lot smoother and quicker. So let's dive on into this and then do that. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is organize your footage on your desktop, however you want to do that, whatever system you're using. You should have files like this. These are dailies that were sent to me. These are all the footage. This is the audio here. I can't show you that because that's not my footage to show you. I don't own the rights to it. So I do have this one, and I'll show you the beginnings of a documentary that I'm working on. So let's just go into Wondershare Filmora now, and I'll quickly show you. So as you can see here, I already have the footage uploaded. That's because it's 4K UHD footage, so it would have taken forever to upload, but I can show you quickly how to do it. So there'll be a time where it prompts you to drag and drop files. So what you can do is just take this and boom, and copy, and it's that simple. Whatever file you're using, it copies in that simple. Or you go up to File, you go Import Media Files, and it takes you to the same file system, and then you can just put them in there. Or you hit Control-I, and it's always good to get used to your keyboard shortcuts. So now you have your footage in here. The first thing that you want to do is scrub through all your footage. Now you want to watch all your footage and see what you have, because you need to know what you're working with so you don't edit yourself into a corner. So now you've done that. So what you want to do is set up folders. So this folder I will call Wide Shot, and what that is when I'm shooting a documentary, I shoot one camera as a wide shot and then the other one's a close-up. So these are the wide shots. So I'll just click on that and hit Shift, and that highlights the ones that I want to bring in there, and then you just drag and drop in there, and now you see that has 3. So I'll make another one called, I'll call this one Close Up. And then I'll take all the close-up shots and drag that and drop it into there. So when you're sent dailies like I had different folders. One was for video, one was for audio. So what you want to do is set up a separate audio file for that. I don't have that. I just recorded straight into my camera for this, so I don't have a separate audio file from like a boom operator or anything like that, but I will show you and just do an audio file anyways for the music that I will be using. So then I go here and drag that into audio file, and bam. And then obviously for anything you're gonna want B-roll, unless you're just doing a B-roll video that's all B-roll, but you shouldn't be. So for some reason I have Cow Farm and then DJI in here, and then drag it into there. So then I have these. So now that you've scrubbed through all your footage and everything, you want to go in here and you want to start another one called Timeline. And what you're going to do with that is you want to take all your footage that you've scrubbed through. So you see here, I've chosen that's what I want. So I'll take that and drag it over into Timeline. And so the B-roll, as you can see here, I've already chosen that. So I'll put that into Timeline. And what you're doing is you're setting up that file folder called Timeline, so you can put everything on your timeline. You just have to go there to get it. This is good to start out with, so you have everything separated, and then after you scrub everything that you've gone through and you like, then you put it into Timeline. And it's not a bad idea to have like Timeline 1, Timeline 2, or Final Version 1, Final Version 2, and have those different folders as well as you go along through editing, but that's a whole other topic on its own. So first things first, what we want to do is I'm going to show you how I started off with this documentary. So you have your timeline, you want to bring footage down into it, and you just drag it into there just like that. So now it'll prompt you, the resolution and frame rate are different. So I shot in 4K UHD 24 frames a second, but my client wants 1080p 24 frames a second. So I just go to that. And if you're not sure what your footage is at. Like that short film that I was doing was shot 30 frames a second. So to find out, you just right click and you go down to properties, and then it shows you everything that you need to know. So file size is 2.79 gigs. Resolution is 3840 by 2160. The frame rate is 23.976 frames per second, which your camera will be shooting at 24 frames a second or whatever it's set at. And then this is the bit rate that it was shot at. So then you know that. And let's say your timeline is set up automatically at like 30 frames a second and you want to change it. What you do is you go to File, you go to Project Settings, and then you have all your project settings right here. So you have widescreen, your aspect ratio, you have 16:9 widescreen, which is generally what you'd be using for YouTube. You have 1:1, which is good for Instagram, which is kind of a nice feature. I'm glad they have this on Wondershare Filmora 10 because whenever you make a video for Instagram, if you're taking it from 16:9 to Instagram, they'll automatically like crop it down into something and it doesn't work out the way you want, but you have full control over it this way. You have 9:16 portrait and 4:3 standard, which is like the old school way of shooting. So there's a movie out there with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe called like Two Weird Guys in a Lighthouse or something like that. And that was all shot at 4:3 standard. And then there's 21:9 cinema, which is your cinema widescreen, which would give you the black bars on there. But they don't want it like that. So then you have your frame rate, which is 24 frames a second. If it was 30, you'd go to 30 or 60, whatever you want. The world's your oyster in this software. So okay, so that's good. Now, what I did to start this off is I wanted a title to start it off, and Wondershare Filmora 10 has a bunch of titles that you can start off with. Like you have titles like these ones here, you got lower thirds or subtitles, whatever. So I'm just gonna start off and you literally just drag it in there like that. Now you want to, I like to have my footage dragged way out, so wait until your arrows are like this and then you can just drag it along like that. Double click on your title, it brings this up. Now I don't want this second title, so I'll just drag it off of there and now I don't have it. It's gone. It's gone forever. And then I want to use this one, so I will put in en la and look up language. So that's not quite to the size that I want, so I'll go up here, click on that, and boop, that's pretty much how I want it. That's the next closest thing to perfect. So then I take another title because I wanted one more to start this off. Double click, drag this down, pull this down here, give the old bibbity boppity over there. Learn to spell, and we're good to go. So I'll drag that over. You see how it's way too big there, but you can just bloop, shrink it down like that. That's a little too small. Okay, you're being... So then I want this to be a little bit smaller too, so it all kind of fits perfectly, and bam, just like that. It's not perfect. I'll play around with that more after, but for the sake of this video, I just want it to be like that. So then what we want to do now is I'm going to add the song, and you just drag it in like that. And now I have that song. Oh yeah, I had my B-roll. So I started off with my DJI. So okay, yeah, I've picked that out. Boom. So I'll show you now a J cut. So the audio and video come attached in Wondershare Filmora 10. So there's a couple ways to go around doing that. You can Control Alt D and it detaches the audio, and this is important for doing J cuts or L cuts. So what you do is you just do that, Control Alt D, or you can just like right click and then it comes up somewhere along here. Yeah, detach audio. But really you should be getting used to your keyboard shortcuts. So then what you want to do is pull this back to here, And then as you can see, the video starts here, but the audio starts there, and it's kind of shaped like a J. That's pretty nifty stuff there that the film world came up with in their words. So I'll just play this along here, and so you hear that. You can barely hear her voice. So what you want to do is come back to here, double click on that, and you see this diamond. Boop, click there. Drag it over to where she starts, and then hit this diamond, and now you've just done an audio keyframe. You pull the volume down just like that, and you play it. So you hear how it gradually drops down. It doesn't just cut off like that. And then now you hear her. You can hear her over the music a little better. You can adjust it more if you want, if that music is still too loud. And that right there is a basic cut. That's a basic J cut. So that's all you really need to know. This is how I started it off. Anything else? Oh yeah, I can show you another title. So we'll go to lower thirds, because you'll want to get her name in there, and then you just throw that on there. And then as you see here, you can change her name, and double click on that, and there you go. Bam. It's just, actually you can go like that, double click that, and then it makes it pop a little more. And that's basic right there. So you've got your couple titles, and you got some J cuts. You've organized your footage. Now you're good to go. So I hope this does help you out in your editing journey. Knowing these organization skills has helped me immensely. And using Wondershare Filmora has been a great process. It's very easy to use. It's very powerful as well. I really do believe it's an underrated software out there. If you've never used it, try my link below. It's free to use. Just give it a shot. Tell me what you think, if you like this or not. If you want more tutorials, let me know in the comments below. I got more coming anyway, so let me know what you would want to see for a tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe and all that jazz, and well, I'll see you later.